Hey, this is Tundra Talks. I wanted to start this episode off with an apology. I'm sorry to all you kids out there that had to play this game when you were younger. Your parents could have gotten you anything else. They could have gotten you Mario, Sonic, and hell, even Bugsy. They didn't. They got you Awesome Possum. Why? Probably because they hated you. They didn't want you. Or not, I don't know, I wasn't there.
Some Possum kicks Dr. Machino's butt.
I'm awesome!
So you're probably wondering, what is this? Why? Well, so am I. This is Awesome Possum Kicks Dr. Machino's Butt. It's fucking horrible. This game is a mascot platformer game from Tengen, and it teaches you about recycling as you play as a possum. That won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I can really jump.
The cool part about this game is the voices. There's a lot of them, but they're fucking awful. I can see what they were trying to do here and make kids aware of environmental problems, but all it does is make me hate it.
I should go more in depth. But before I get into any gameplay, I want to go over a few things. For one, this game is fucking ugly. It's like when your old-ass teacher bends over in front of you and you see something that resembles cottage cheese. Ugh. The colors are awful. They're all this weird brown or orange thing. Nothing pops, it's just bland. Even the character models are just awful. They're barely animated. Most characters just have about 4 frames of animation. Awesome Possum being the most well done, and that's not saying much. And don't get me started on the backgrounds. They move in this weird fashion where the top and the lower level move one way while the middle goes the other. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it slows down the fucking game, and it can make you sick.
What, you thought I was gonna throw up? Fuck you, I'm hungry.
I guess I should get on with the gameplay, or lack thereof. I guess the best way to explain this is to think of Sonic the Hedgehog, but as a junky hobo that'll let you play with his magical snake for free, only if you keep your eyes closed.
And no peeking.
You collect cans instead of rings, and then you get your usual power-up. But then you run into Awesome Possum's first real enemy.
Fucking hills!
Seriously? Hills? For some odd reason, Tengen thought it would be a great idea if you had a hard time on a hill. You constantly get pulled down. You have to fight the controls just to make it up. And it would help if gravity wasn't totally fucked.
The way it seems to work in this game is that there's a certain amount of space that you can jump up, with or without momentum. And then you fall. No big deal, right? Wrong.
On a hill, this space exists, but it's smaller. So what does this mean? The game is so poorly programmed that on a hill, if you jump up, the game will think that you jumped from lower on the hill, pulling you back down. Oh, and it gets even better. The second world is underwater. Woo-hoo. You go so slow when you swim. It's absolutely awful. And here's the best part of swimming. You run faster on the floor of the ocean, like there's no water. There's no point in swimming. And don't worry about moving slow to get to the floor. The game forgets you're underwater and pulls you down the same way it does on a hill.
Before I go further, I'd like to address something. What do all platformers have in common, from Mario to Croc? Jumping on platforms. But guess what? Awesome Possum's platforming is broken!
Jumping in this game is just the worst. It completely stops your momentum. It's impossible to be precise where you land. Most of this is just because of how heavy he is. Listen to this. That noise should tell you how awful it is. But it gets worse. You have to jump on enemies to kill them. But even that's impossible.
Okay, so you're used to jumping on enemies in games, right? And what do you think you'd use? Your feet, right? Not an Awesome Possum. It's gonna sound like a terrible joke, but the hitbox is up his ass. I'm not even kidding. Take a look!
Sometimes you get lucky and he does this spin thing. Gee, That looks familiar. I wonder where I... Sonic! You can hit enemies easier this way. But most of the time, it's just with his ass. And it's not just enemies you have to do this with. It's everything. Platforms, spring jumps, and his animal buddies.
I guess it's time I bring this up. Awesome Possum has these animal friends. I'm assuming the developers saw Donkey Kong and decided to rip that shit off too. I don't know.
There's a bee, a manta ray, a seagull that didn't want to be in this video, wonder why, and a rhino. The first three are exactly the same. All they do is help you get across the giant level. The rhino is the only one that's kind of useful. He knocks out walls and he kills enemies, and he can also toss you upward. That's it though.
I use the term animal friends loosely, because just watch this for a second.
I think this friendship only goes one way.
The animal friends are sometimes hard to find, which is a shame because the levels are annoyingly huge. But guess what? There's springs that get you around faster. Wrong again!
These evil, evil people. Why? They put these fucking weird Congo drums that work like springs and boost you around, but most of the time, they throw you in the spikes. It doesn't make any sense. What kind of a sadistic asshole does this to kids? This is a kid's game, right? Sometimes the jumps don't even match where they're supposed to launch you, causing you to have to find another route. It's just lazy and such a middle finger.
The levels in this game are just awful. They're long, they're boring, they're ugly, they just shit on your eyeballs.
There's 4 worlds in Awesome Possum. The first is the rainforest, second is the only swimming level, thank God, an ice world, and the last is a garbage world. And as a further kick in the balls are the bonus levels. When you do them, you can sometimes get a shitload of lives, which you need, or you can die and lose a life, and have to do it all over again. And die, and die, and die. Ugh!
And even after everything that I've mentioned, the second most horrible thing in this game is its length. It will take you 4 hours to do it. And you have to do it in one sitting, because there's no password system, and once you die, you go back all the way to the beginning of the game. It's terrible. This thing is out to fucking kill you. Not only do the springs throw you in the spikes, but the fucking enemies. My God.
Sometimes enemies just want you dead, and others just ignore you. And then they blow themselves up, whatever. We got robots, alright. Fighter jets? Eels? Nuclear subs? The Great Kazoo? What the fuck? He's a possum! Don't you think it's a little excessive?
And this game is supposed to be for kids, right? Well, you would think that if he didn't die in horrible ways.
He gets cut in half, he gets burned, and his skin melts off. You know what? I'm okay with this. Burn the asshole. And here's another strange part of the game. I know, surprised, right? Every level has a fucking quiz at the end. It's just so weird and it's just so out of place. I guess it's supposed to teach you about the environment, but it's just odd. Just press any button and get through it as fast as you can.
The whole point of this game is to stop Dr. Machino from polluting the world. And on the way, Awesome Possum talks. A lot.
You're not so awesome.
Fuck you.
I'm so cool.
Nope.
Wow, that was incredible. Oh,
Shut up.
leave me alone.
Stop. Stop.
Noble breath.
Stop.
I'm so hyper.
Just shut up, goddammit.
Oh,
This was the selling point to the fucking game. I remember when I saw this in the store, I thought, this would be so funny. I should have taken my life on the spot. But I didn't. I beat this fucking game. And so no one else has to go through what I did, I'll play you the goddamn ending.
The last level is a boss rush. I didn't mention the bosses before because they're practically the same. Just jump on them and they die. I like how the water boss still has bubbles in the air. Good job, team. Anyway, Dr. Machino is just the same. Jump on him, and then you get this delightful scene.
Awesome, awesome, kicks Dr. Machino's butt.
I'm awesome.
And then he's on Mount Rushmore? The hell? I thought he had an environmental message. So let's destroy the environment? Whatever. Awesome Possum is a terrible, terrible game. It was made by people who didn't want to work on it, had a shitty environmental message. It's just lazy. It has so many bugs. The game lags because of the background. The jumping mechanics are fucked. This is an attempted ripoff of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it fails on every count. If you value your sanity, and you're not a masochist, don't ever pick this game up. Ever.
Awesome Possum is not fun. At all. Don't ever pick this up. It's an obscure game, and it's a perfect example of people just trying to make a quick buck. You know, this is Tundra Talks. I'm done talking. Let me clear my head.
Asshole. If your kid got off the trike like I told him to, it wouldn't have been such a big deal.
Ow!
Shit, what the...
Now you've gone and done it.
Did I hit a cat?
I'm playing Possum.
Oh, okay.
No! Ow! I'm Road Pizza.